What's up, everybody? This is Chris Nichols, and you're listening to an episode of the Nichols and Dimes Show featuring Rast. Enjoy.
You don't know what I'm about to do. Big explosion, get away right now. She's heating up, you're so active full. Slow down, man, I just don't know how. You don't know what I'm about to do.
Rob, what's up, brother? How you doing?
What's going on, man? I'm stoked to be here right now.
Dude, thanks for having me, man. What a cool shop you got.
Hell yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
You don't see we got a bunch of bikes down here. They're pretty dope.
I know. Yeah, we'll have to get some footage of that and share that with people. But, dude, I mean, just the content you've been making with these two brands you have, which we're going to talk about, man, I mean, it's really entertaining, first of all. You've done a great job with it. You've obviously built a great following on YouTube and social media. Mm-hmm. So I'm excited to hear about more how you did that and what your strategy and philosophy is behind all that stuff. But dude, seriously, thanks for having me. It's a cool little setup we got.
Hell yeah. Thanks so much. I can't wait to share. Happy to share my journey with your fans and followers, and hope I can contribute something to it.
Oh man, well, I'm confident you will. And yeah, let's definitely get into it. So I'll start with a quick intro. Guys, I'm here with Rob Rast, who is CEO and founder of FLX Bike and Miles Board, which are electric bike and electric skateboard companies, respectively. He has a fascinating journey that I'm excited to talk about. He's originally from Sacramento, California, attended UC Irvine for 2 years before dropping out and moving to China to begin his journey as an entrepreneur. He lived in China for 9 years, where he started multiple companies and became fluent in Chinese. Definitely some questions about that. That's wild stuff. But in 2018, he moved himself and FLX Bikes HQ to San Diego, along with founding Miles Board around the same time. Wow. That's what a journey.
You missed one thing, actually.
What's that?
He's single. Gotta follow that with that.
Maybe I'll add that in the follow notes section. Oh, that's good. Man, dude. Well, seriously, gosh. Okay, so Sacramento. You grew up in Sacramento, and then I'm curious, what got you to UC Irvine? Where were you thinking of going to school, and what were you looking at studying? What was life like growing up? Let's start there.
Yeah, so growing up, I was a bit of a nerd.
Okay.
I did a lot of things. I was, into sports, but also into doing some weird stuff. Like I was building fireworks in my bedroom.
Uh-huh.
I just loved, I was a big pyro. I love anything with lighters. My first, business was I would go to the flea market and I'd buy these torch lighters. I just thought they were cool as hell. You can melt a penny with this lighter. Mm-hmm. And, anything, like if you can figure out a way to make money off of that, then your hobby becomes a business.
Yeah.
So I would go to the flea market and I'd buy like 5 at a time for $3 each. And then I'd go to church on Sundays and I'd have my cargo shorts full of these jet lighters. Uh-huh. And I tried to sell them to the other kids in youth group at church. Like, Here you guys go, $10 a lighter. Who's taking them? So that was interesting. Yeah, total nerd. I got into the Science Olympiad. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
It's a competition in like junior high and high school with a bunch of different science events. So there's like building bottle rockets. There's building a Rube Goldberg machine, like the mousetrap machine where you drop a ball in and then that kicks a ramp or something like that, and energy transfer each time.
Got it.
So I was involved in all the building events there, building stuff, and my dad was an engineer. He always wanted me to be a mechanical engineer. Mm-hmm. And I thought I love doing this stuff. That sounds pretty cool. So also I looked up at the colleges. What's the highest paid job when you get out of college? Mechanical engineer was that one.
So how old were you when you realized that's the direction you wanted to take?
That was in high school. Okay. In high school.
Because you had this knack of this interest for that type of stuff, making things when you were young, right? And I imagine that was a large influence from just your dad doing what he did?
Absolutely, yeah. Huge influence. Kind of like from my dad. It's like, one, how stuff works, always taking stuff apart, fixing it. Mm-hmm. And then two, how to make it work better, how to optimize it. That's been a huge part of my life. Like, how can we take what we've got and make it a little bit better? I love that.
Yeah. Nice.
Yeah.
Okay. And so you were good at school. You said you're a nerd.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm a nerd in the fact like my interests were nerdy. I didn't spend as much time doing homework, and I ditched class sometimes. I wasn't a straight A student. I was a B student. I was a B student in high school.
For sure.
So I didn't get into the like top engineering colleges I wanted to. I got into like UC Irvine and Cal Poly. San Luis Obispo was the other one. Okay. Which in hindsight for engineering, that probably would have been the better choice. But I went and visited both schools, man. In UC Irvine, being on the beach there, Newport Beach, SoCal, it's just so beautiful. I couldn't say no to it. So I picked UC Irvine.
Nice. Okay, so what happened at UC Irvine? You got started. Did you had your major picked out? Were you in the School of Engineering or whatever it was? School
of Engineering. I forget what they call it, but kind of throughout high school too, I had this mentor, and every time I met this guy, he's like, Rob, if you want to be successful, you got to learn Chinese and you got to go to China. Whoa. And there's a white guy.
Who is this guy?
His name is Scott Powell. Okay. Most successful dude I've ever met. Met him through the church as well. He was like one of the small group leaders for this summer camp, and then he took on a couple of us guys like as mentors. Supposed to be a weekly Bible study, but it was really just like, here's how you be a man. Here's how you be successful in business. Here's how you talk to girls. Yeah. And that was he's like a second father that I never had in my life. But yeah, he had this foresight, seeing like China blow up, and he's like, this is gonna be kind of where a big part of the future is. You better learn some Chinese. Wow. And when I went to college, dude, it was like 50% Asians. Large portion of that was Chinese. Yeah, my roommates were learning Chinese. I was seeing China everywhere after hearing that every week. Wow. Beijing Olympics, all this stuff. And so I started learning Chinese in college. And one summer, 2 years in, my mentor calls me up. He's like, dude, I know you've been learning Chinese. I think it's time for you to go to China and check it out. Wow. And I was Mandarin? Like, were you studying Mandarin? Yeah, I studied Mandarin. I was like, I don't know, right? I'm just, I'm getting straight A's, kind of like it here. I'm near the beach. There's pretty girls here. Yeah. He says, all right, you go over there. I'll buy your plane ticket. And couldn't pass that opportunity up, right? Yeah. So I picked a spot out on the map, got a one-way ticket, and went to China.
Okay, so the China, I guess, the idea of going to China was becoming such a big thing, but how did it become such a big thing to make you actually drop out of UCI midway through?
So one thing is I had nothing but tremendous respect for my mentor. He had achieved all the success in his life that I wanted to have in my life. And I'm like wondering, like, hey, if I want to get to there, what do I need to do? And this guy's pointing a path out to me. So kind of trusting people who have done it before and modeling their success is one. Two is it wasn't actually dropping out of college at the time. It was a 10-year leave of absence.
10-year?
Yeah, so you put in a form with the school and they approve it and they say you got 10 years to come back. That was in 2009.
Wow, that's kind of a lot. I didn't know that was a thing. 10 years is a long time.
Yeah, so you basically just hitting a pause button on school, go over, do whatever the hell you want, and then if it doesn't work out, come back. So I always had that parachute of being able to come back to school and pay for my education. But I don't know, my philosophy when I went was like, I think I'm going to do some business here. I have no idea what it's going to be. I've been working my butt off and saving my entire life. I don't know what for, probably to do some business sometime. And I'd rather get paid to do business in the real world, or maybe lose some of my money, which I ended up doing, than pay a bunch of money to a teacher to teach me hypothetical scenarios and like make up some project that nobody cares about.
Got it.
If that makes sense. Not to shit on the people that are going to school, but that was just how I wanted to do it.
Oh, no, it makes complete sense. Yeah, I mean, just most entrepreneurs I talk to, frankly, have this realization at some point or another, whether it's before college, during college, or after. And, it's just maybe not this direction in life and business is not super, I guess, applicable to a lot of the stuff you go to class for in college, right?
Yeah, the thing like with college, what I struggled with is I didn't care about any of the stuff they were teaching me. Like, well, like one class, it was an accounting class, man, and they were teaching us how to read these like the balance sheets and all this stuff. And I was like, give me a break. Like, this makes no sense to me. It's some random company. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
It was the only class I ever, like, really flunked out of. And I had to drop it within a couple weeks of it because I couldn't go. I couldn't do the homework. I couldn't bring myself to do it. And what's funny about that is now that I've been doing business, I've been doing business for 5 years without knowing what my financials were.
Wow.
And it led to a bunch of, like, challenges in the business because I didn't know what I was doing in the financial aspect of the business. So that's one thing where I probably should have paid attention, but I didn't care enough to pay attention until it mattered to my business.
Interesting. And then, of course, you learned by doing.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so that's interesting. So it's a huge risk what you did, right? You just picked up and moved to China mid-college. I mean, would you agree that was a huge risk?
No, I wouldn't say it was a huge risk.
Okay. I'm talking mostly like we dropping out of college is considered a risk, but then going somewhere new, much less China, especially with how the world is. And I know maybe things were slightly different at that point, but like, how did you feel about that move?
That's a good question. You know, just like, before you move somewhere, when you get that feeling in your gut, you just like kind of that anxiety, like, ooh, what's gonna happen?
Yeah.
What's next? Who am I gonna meet? Right? It's like that, but times 10. I was always somebody, like, growing up where I felt like you could drop me anywhere and I'd be fine.
Okay.
I would figure it out. I'm an excellent problem solver, and that's a muscle. Just doing stuff. I used to go out and, I figured out, because my parents were always busy working.
Yeah.
You have to take the bus to the mall to do whatever you want, and I'd get lost and figured out, like, I kind of like this, getting lost and doing stuff and getting in trouble. And that's kind of what makes life fun and interesting when you don't know what's coming next. And so to me, is like, I'm an optimist, right? I don't look at the risk, I look at the reward. It's all calculated on my end. And for me, I felt, hey, the reward here, the upside is way bigger than the risk.
That's awesome. Okay. So that it's really a personality thing unique to you of why you took it so well.
Yeah. I'm not a super anxious person. I love to go. I get anxious if I don't have risk.
I like it. Okay. and that's the companies we talk about with going. How fast can you go on your skateboards? Like,
oh man,
25.
Too fast, man. Too fast. Fast enough to break your leg. That's for sure.
Dude, we'll talk about that. Yeah. So you went to China. Did you have an idea of what you were going to do once you got there? I'm sure you felt confident enough in your Chinese to go for it and to try to get by.
Yeah, I had absolutely no clue. No friends, didn't know anybody, no job lined up, no school. But I looked at the map, and I was living in Newport Beach, in Orange County, and I liked the beach, man. I wanted to do some surfing. I looked at the map of China, and I'm like, hey, that place looks like where Newport Beach would be, but in China, I'm like measuring, right? That's the place. I knew nothing about it. It was a smaller city, so I thought, hey, there'll be less foreigners here. I'll speak more Chinese. I wanted the immersion, right?
Which city did you go to?
Zhuhai, China.
Zhuhai.
Which is the city that borders Macau, China, which is the originally Portuguese-owned, now gambling nation. And then Hong Kong is just across the
South.
Pearl Delta is what they call it.
Okay.
From there. And I had no idea, so I just flew in, hopped in a taxi, and was like, hey, take me to a hotel, any hotel. Went to a hotel, and stayed there a couple days. I got involved in some weird roommate thing after that. And then I found an apartment, and I just kind of walked around, and I talked to people. I'd go to restaurants, find a massage place, hop on the bus and try and start talking to people. Made a couple of friends from the bus. Yeah. But I spent like 3-4 months there and kind of realized, like, I'm not making a lot of progress in my Chinese. Like, I'm walking around, sure, it's fun, but my buddies were going to a school in Beijing. They were my college roommates, and they told me, like, they were learning a ton. So I'm like, dude, I'm gonna check that out. So I went and met them in Beijing.
Why do you think? So do you think because the Zhuhai, was it just maybe a little bit too touristy or too casual for you to really be forced to get better at speaking Chinese? Mm-hmm. Was that?
I think there were a couple of things. One is I had no real purpose there. I didn't have a job. I was just fucking around, man. I didn't no idea what I was doing.
Yeah.
There was one wake up call one day, because in China at the time, this is before Netflix and stuff, you'd go out and on the streets by the vegetable market, there'd be a guy with a little table and he's selling bootleg DVDs. And it's like $1.50 and you'd get 2 discs with like 30 movies on them.
Yeah.
And I'm like, shit, like that's a great deal. I love watching movies. So I grabbed one of those, and then I went home and I watched a movie and I was like, that was great. And then it auto plays the next movie. And I watched that one and then the next one. And I've like watched English movies for like 3 days straight, and I'm what am I doing here? I came all this way. I was watching English movies. So I swore, 1, I'm never going to watch a movie again by myself. And 2, I got to do something different. And that's when I was talking to my buddies. They were learning, and I went to go to school. But to summarize, like, if you're learning something, if you've got a purpose, something to apply it to where there's stakes and it makes sense, doing business, going to school, a sport, anything, it's kind of hobby, group, whatever, then you're going to start repeating the same language patterns over and over again. And that's when the real learning takes place.
Okay. Wow. Okay. So you didn't really do anything in Zhuhai. You kind of just messed around a little bit, enjoyed the new, learned about the new culture. But how long were you there until you picked up and went to Beijing?
It was 4 or 6 months.
Okay.
I can't remember exactly, but it was long enough. You know, I made some friends. It was cool. Yeah. And then went to Beijing. After that, Beijing Normal University, which is a school for teachers, I guess. And that was really cool. So the other thing, language-wise, Zhuhai, their native language is Cantonese. And so they speak Mandarin, but they have this weird accent that's not like the standard Chinese accent. It's kind of like if you went to, say, Houston, Texas to learn English. You talk a little funny.
Sure.
Right?
Yeah. No, I've heard they are very different, Cantonese and Mandarin.
Yeah.
Okay, so you started going to this school in Beijing. Was this just so you can continue to get better at speaking Chinese, or did you have a purpose or intention in mind of what you were getting some sort of education for to go then try to get a job perhaps in Beijing?
Yeah. One was like check out a bigger cities, capital China. I heard great things from my buddies about it. 2 was just accelerate the learning. And 3, I guess, was just new opportunity. At that point, I still didn't know what I was going to use it for, but it sounded interesting. Oh, and also visa. I think they provided a student visa or something. Okay. Which was cool. So I went there and did that for a semester. It was really cool. I lived with my buddies there. We had a ton of fun. And at the end of this semester, it was summer, right? Summer's getting out. I had this motorcycle, man. It was beautiful weather. Yeah. And I'm looking around, getting a little antsy. I'm like, I've been in Beijing, but I want to see some more of China. Yeah. So I bought this backpack and I threw it on the back, some tents, my gear, and I just started riding south. And I was on couch surfing. You ever done couch surfing? That
was like the app, right?
Yeah, so it was like Airbnb before Airbnb existed, and it was like, hey, do you have a couch? Can I sleep there for free? And people will host you. Wow. It's really cool. So I just picked like the major cities along the coast of China, going down from Beijing, and met some really cool and also really interesting.
I'm sure.
Interesting situations came about, but I just went city to city, just really exploring China and kind of seeing what was out there. And it's a beautiful country, man.
And this is just really you and your motorcycle and a backpack?
It's me and the motorcycle, no helmet, backpack. Yeah, it was an adventure.
Wow. Sure. Yeah. You just went for it. You were just saying, I'm just going to go see what happens.
Yeah, exactly. Just see what happens. I love those moments, man. I live for those. It's when it's like you're playing a game of Risk with your buddies or Monopoly, and then one person gets pissed off and throws the table over. So you don't know where those pieces are going to land.
Right.
But you can pick them up.
You're right.
Right?
Yeah. Yeah, that's I like the way you just put that. Maybe I'll be more prone to, I don't know, flip the table next time I get pissed off. And oh, man. Okay, so then you went on this road trip. So how long did this road trip last until the next step in your journey in China?
Yeah. So the road trip, I was having a ton of fun. It was really cool. I ended up in Xiamen Island of China, which is like if you look at Taiwan and you just go to the left from there, go west from there, that's where Xiamen is in the mainland China. And I was couch surfing and I got some dinner with my host, and I come out from dinner and I'm like, where's my motorcycle?
Yeah.
And I talked to the security guy there. He's like, the police took it.
Oh, geez.
Great. And apparently on this island you can't have motorcycles. I had to sneak it in a little bit, and I go to the police station. I go find them on the day that they were there, and they had a little 7-Eleven across the street. So I loaded up with tea, man. I just got 2 big bags of tea.
Tea, okay.
Yeah, tea.
Yeah.
So, man, I'm going to get my motorcycle back one way or another, right? I'm going to sweeten this guy up. So I bring these bags of tea into the police station. Yeah. And I'm like, hey, where's the chief of police? I'm here to talk,
so
right?
You're about to bribe the Chinese police with tea.
His white guy comes in, and I've got like 6 bottles of tea.
This is unreal.
And I'm like, I heard you got my motorcycle.
Yeah.
And I set this tea on the table. It's pretty hot outside. Why don't you have a drink? and this chief of police just looks at me. He's like, "You're gonna come here and bribe me with tea?"
Unreal.
And I was like, no, I just thought it was hot. I'll drink it. Oh my God. And I end up drinking this tea. And he's like, yeah, you're not getting your motorcycle back, dude. You're fucked.
Well, why did they take it?
So it could have been any number of the following reasons that he mentioned. Fake license plate, motorcycle was probably stolen.
Oh, was it?
No.
It was a fake license plate, though?
Yeah, no Chinese license, no insurance, no registration. One of those reasons.
Yeah. Oh, man.
And I was like, all right, fair play.
Okay.
I bought the thing for, I don't know, $500, maybe less than that, $400 or $500.
And you just didn't know that all that stuff was wrong, or you maybe had an idea because it was so cheap, but you just took the risk anyway?
No, I didn't care. It was just like, $400 for a motorcycle that works? Great, I'll take it. I bought it off Chinese Craigslist. In China, motorcycles are basically illegal everywhere, and so every motorcycle is of questionable origin. Okay. And so it's like you just ride it until it's gone. It's like the seasons, man. You just enjoy the summer while it's there.
Yeah, I was just gonna ask you, how common do you see motorcycles on the road in China? But not very often.
There's a lot of motorcycle taxis, and they're all illegal. And so the police will come out and shout something, and then they'll all scatter. Yeah, it's pretty funny. But anyways, so I lost my motorcycle, and at that point I was trying to get to a wedding. It was somebody who I had met in Zhuhai. It was one of my first friends in Zhuhai. Her name was Gabriella. Yeah. She was getting married to this French guy in Guangzhou, and I was like, I'll ride my motorcycle down there. But since I lost it, I had like 4 or 5 days left to get there, and I'm 1,000 miles away still. Yeah. So I just grab my backpack and I make this sign that says like Zhuhai on it or Guangzhou, and I walk out to the freeway with this sign, and I'm just standing there for hours, dude. And I've got my thumb out, like the international hitchhiking sign. Oh my gosh! And these Chinese drivers go past me, like, "Hey, yeah," give me the thumbs up.
Do they know what that means out there?
No, no, they do not know what that means. Hitchhiking is not a big thing in China. Yeah. But eventually, this car, the very first car I ever hitchhiked was a truck carrying pigs. Oh boy! They stopped for me, and I went and I crowded in between these 2 pig farmers. No way!
Oh, farmers. Okay.
Not in between the 2 pigs. Okay. I should change that story. That'd be a good one. I sat with these pigs. No, and they took me a couple 100 miles, and then I got out and went to the next one. And when I was in the car with these people, dude, we were just chatting for hours, just talking Chinese for hours. Wow! It's like you would pay good money to talk this much Chinese to people in the States. And I started really liking it, dude. The hitchhiking, I was getting to know new people. I got to hear about their life stories. I got to hear what they did, how they were making money, how they were meeting their wives. A lot of them were cheating on their wives, by the way. It was interesting. And I ended up making it to Guangzhou, and it was awesome. And then I did a lot of hitchhiking after that, because it was a great experience and really a tipping point for my Chinese.
Got it. Yeah. See, because you were just you had just such concentrated interaction in Chinese with people, and you had to speak it.
Dude, you'd be speaking for 12 hours a day in cars with people. It was amazing. Yeah.
Wow.
And you, like I said, when you have something to focus on, you're kind of repeating themes. They'd always ask you, do you like the food? Are you married? What do you do for work? And you really drill that stuff down.
How did they respond to you? I mean, I've always, because it's such a different culture out there, seeing this, young white dude, American guy in China, like just on his own, kind of going wherever the wind blows and speaking Chinese. How did people respond to that? Were they kind of thrown back or really impressed, or all the above?
Yeah, that's a great question. It was tough because in general, Chinese culture, there's a lot of reservation because there's so much going on in the culture, and people trying to lie and cheat. I'm not saying they all do, but there is a subset, and so that's something people are always looking out for. I'm not trying to get lied to, cheating, stolen, whatever. And so, for example, hitchhiking, I had to do a lot of convincing sometimes. Like, hey, I'm just a normal person. I'm not here to steal your car. Yeah. Like, this is my story. Here, look at the pictures. Here's where I've been. But once you do pass that like social hook point, like, okay, hey, I don't feel like I'm in danger with this person. Wow, they just open up, and it was really, really cool being able to bond with somebody from a completely different culture, laugh about things, because while we have so much different about us, there's also so much in common. We want the same things. Yeah, basically,
we're all people.
Yeah, we're all humans. That was really cool. And one of my big takeaways is like, there's a lot of things in Chinese culture that they do that are way cooler than what we do here.
Like what?
And vice versa. For example, in China, going out to eat, they don't sit there and like calculate the bill and like, you pay this much, you order this, you order that. And when they eat too, it's like, hey, there's 5 people, let's order 5 things, and we're all gonna try 5 different things.
Family style.
Rather than it's family style. Rather than each person only gets one thing, everybody gets to eat 5 things. And then you know what? I got it this time, right? Yeah. I'm gonna pay for it. Yeah. And next time you'll pay for it. And there's not this sense of like, in Chinese they call it 计较, or they call it 双皮鸡毛, which means garlic skin and chicken feathers. You don't care about the garlic skin and chicken feathers, man. They're small things. Yeah. Doesn't matter, right?
Interesting.
Yeah, the big thing is that we're together, we're friends, we're here enjoying this meal together. And next time, hey, you'll get it. Maybe it won't cost the same, but who gives a shit, right? That's garlic skin and chicken feathers.
That is interesting. Wow, I didn't know that. I actually didn't know that. That was a prevalent thing in the Chinese culture.
Yeah, super prevalent. It's really cool. It's really, there's a lot going on. So like here, right? We'll work, we'll go home, we'll eat, we'll sleep, and we get ready to do it again the next time. Work out in there somewhere. Yeah. In China, dude, you're getting off work 6 p.m. You'll get a call at 6:10. Hey, we're at the West Cove restaurant. We're eating. Come. Every day, man. It's something like that. It's just going super spontaneous. There's always something going on. It's really, they call it "re now," which means hot and noisy.
How do you say it?
"Re now."
"Re now," okay.
It means there's like always something going on, but little translation, hot and noisy.
You got it.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah.
Man, well, we could go on about the Chinese cultural experience, but I want to get back to your journey. So we were talking about you were going to a wedding and you made your way hitchhiking there, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and so you attended this wedding and you had a good time. You still were on the road, just with no motorcycle, no form of transportation. Yeah. You were in the city of this wedding. What came next?
I got on the road again. I was there about a few days, and then So long story short, I made this big loop around China is, there's a phrase in Chinese that inspired me. It's called, I'll just tell it to you in English, but it's, to read 10,000 books is not as good as to walk 10,000 miles.
Ooh, I love it.
And I absolutely love that quote. I was like, damn, I want to test that. I want to see if that's true. And so my mission that summer was, I'm going to walk 10,000 miles, right? And I didn't walk it. I hitchhiked it.
Yeah.
I rode it on my motorcycle and I hitchhiked 10,000 miles, made a big loop, ended up in Hainan, China. Because I hitchhiked down there, and it's this little island in South China. They call it the Hawaii of China.
Okay.
And dude, it's beautiful. That's where I finally found the blue beaches and a really beautiful spot. And there was a school there too. So I was like, okay, I'm just gonna pick up fall semester here, do a little bit more Chinese, and get to a point where where my reading and writing, like if I could write a good essay in Chinese, I think I'll be there at a business level in Chinese. And it was there when I got to Hainan. Just randomly one day, I'm at the bottom of my apartment complex, and this Mercedes pulls up, and these Chinese guys pile out.
Yeah.
And one of us says something to each other. We start talking, and the guy's like, I'm a business guy, right? Paraphrasing this, I do business. You're white. Let's work together. And in my head, I'm like, Chinese business guy? New mentor? I'm going to learn Chinese and business at the same time? Let's go,
perfect.
man. Yeah, perfect.
Yeah.
And so that really opened up the next chapter in my life. Yeah, it was this Chinese business guy.
Yeah.
So I went around with him. He had a company where they provide like these, the free magazines and different hotels and stuff. It's just advertisements in them. And this other business he had was they made rice liquor, Chinese rice liquor. Have you heard of Baijiu?
Yeah.
White liquor. Yeah, it tastes like gasoline and bubble gum.
Okay.
It came in a pretty bottle. He made it for like $2 and sold it for $60. Retail. I'm like, dude, those are some great margins, and this shit tastes like ass.
Yeah.
Like, I absolutely hate this.
Yeah.
It's an acquired taste maybe, but if you can sell this for $60 for a 3,000% margin, whatever it was, how about some good California wine? And that's when the light bulb went off, and I started thinking about that a lot. I started talking of like my family back home, found out one of our neighbors was really linked into Napa Valley. Started chatting with him, and I'm like, dude, I'm going to start a wine importing business. I'm going to be the Bill Gates of wine in China.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
And that's when I started my first real business.
Okay. And so what was the role of this mentor business guy you met in this process?
I just went around with him for a couple months, a month or two. I found out he was totally full of shit, and he wasn't successful. He had a bunch of people money.
Yeah.
And it, like 90% of everything he said was lies. But going around with him, that's where I got the idea of the wine. Just kind of seeing him sell this liquor is what led me to think, hey, wine could be successful here. And looking back, it was definitely not the most educated decision I could have made. I could have done some more analysis on the market and stuff, but that was one of those things where I just went for it. And, let's see what happens.
Gosh, well, okay, I can imagine a ton of hurdles from starting an alcohol import business in China, between China and the U.S. I mean, just the amount of trade friction that there is already, and then you add a regulated industry like alcohol on top of that. I mean, you kind of went for one of the hardest things you could have done right off the bat. Yeah, it was stupid. It was stupid. That was a great analysis. If you had sat down with me and told me that in 2011, I would be like, hey, maybe you're onto something here. But nobody told me that, I guess, or maybe they did, and I was too dumb to listen, too hard-headed to listen. So I just went for it. I'm like, you know what, I can figure this out. And the hardest part, dude, was just dealing with the regulations there and the red tape to register a business. Oh my God, it was. Yeah. What was that like?
So here in the States, if you want to register a business, LLC, you go online, 3 minutes, maybe 5 minutes if you take your time, you have this thing done, $200. Here's your business. In China, there's always this chicken and egg problem, where, for example, in order to get a business license, one of the many thousands of steps you've got to do is show them, hey, I have a full office that's rented out and ready to go. I have this operational office that's all laid out. It's like, why would you get an office if you don't even know if you can do business, if you don't have a business license, right? And to me, like, I couldn't wrap my head around things like that, right? I can't get the business license because I don't have an office. And I can't get an office because I don't have a business license. And so there's always, like, you just kind of just have to go for things and do some things that you're not proud of to get things done. I hired this agent too to help me with the registration of the business. She's supposed to do everything for me. I still have this is my full-time job, dude, running from government agency to government agency to get this stamp and get that stamp and redo the paperwork and run back out on the motorcycle, get another stamp. I do this shit for 9 months, dude. And I'm kind of at the end of the process to get the final approvals, and the agent sits me down. She's like, you know what? You're a foreigner, and this just isn't gonna work. Are you fucking kidding me?
Wow.
She's like, do you know any Chinese people you could just restart it, put it under their name? And I'm thinking, like, well, I'm so invested already, I can't just give up. Who's the Chinese person that I trust the most? The girl I'm sleeping with. It just goes from bad to worse. Right?
Oh, man.
And so, I had this girl, is a girlfriend at the time. We've been dating for a couple months, and I was like, hey.
Couple months, oh boy.
Hey. And that relationship was on the rocks already, dude. But I had no options. Hey, do you mind if I register a business in your name? And, I talked her into it, and we go to the government thing, and the second the signature pen hits the paper, everything in our relationship changed. Because she had seen me go through all these hoops, and she knew now she could do anything she wanted, and there's no way I would leave, because I wouldn't leave the business.
Whoa.
Yeah. And that was...
Oh, boy.
That was wicked. That really rocked my world, dude. That realization.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Holy smokes. Okay. So how'd you get out of
that? So dealt with that for about 2 years. She's a sweet girl, but I really put her in a weird position. She'd just go out at night. We're living together. She wouldn't come home. I was with friends, shit like that. And it's like,
damn. And you're living together.
Normally I'd be like, all right, that's it. See you later. Next.
Oh, boy.
But because of the business, I was just like, okay, all right, I'll see you in the morning.
So she just started treating you like her bitch.
Oh, yeah. I just dealt with it, dude. I just bent over and took it. And that ended. I was having a barbecue for some buddies that helped me out in business. She was there. Everybody was doing a little drinking. She comes up to me to, like, give me a hug or something. And she says, you asshole. And then she comes in and she bites my shoulder, dude. Just
no way. Literally.
She grabs a big bite of my shoulder, dude.
What?
Full force with her teeth. I'm like, what the hell? And then she says again, she's like, you asshole. She comes in and takes a bigger bite, dude. I'm bleeding out of my shoulder.
Hell?
Yeah, and then she just runs off. Doesn't say why she's mad. Doesn't say anything. Just splits. And we're all, we're in beach attire. It's the middle of the night in China. She's wearing a bikini. Sprints off drunk towards the middle of the city. Oh, boy. And I'm like, great. That's not great. Half naked drunk girl in the middle of the city. We gotta get this under control. So I go
This is Beijing.
This is in Hainan, China.
Oh, whoops. Yeah. You had moved. Okay. Yep.
So I run to the city. I'm trying to, she's not answering the phone. I'm looking all over for her. Sorry to derail your podcast, by the way.
No. This is interesting. Looking
all over for her, and I catch up to her. I see her running from one building to another building like this Pokemon, just and I go and I like grab her, and sometimes she like elbows me or kicks me and gets out of it, and she gets she gets away, right?
Uh-huh.
And so then my buddies catch up and like, well, there she is, right? I've got a van there. It's my wine delivery van.
Yeah.
Kind of parked over there, and I'm like, we're just gonna have to just put her in the van.
Oh man.
And by this time,
Oh man.
by this time, the whole intersection is full of people. There's like 300 people watching us, 300 Chinese people watching us, and it's me and like 2 other white guys. We get the van door open, we grab her, and we're stuffing this half naked, drunk Chinese girl in the back of my van. and it's at that point, like, we're literally like, we're mid stuff.
Yeah.
Woo! And the police roll up. Police car rolls right up, and I'm like, oh my God, this could not look any worse. I'm never going back to the States again.
Oh my God.
I thought that was it.
Really?
And so they put me in the back of the squad car, and they pull her out to talk with her, and the officer says to her, 你们俩什么关系? Which means, how do you know each other? Right? What's your relationship? I don't know him.
No way.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We've been living together for 2 years, dude.
Oh no.
So she doesn't know me, and so
And you still don't know why she was mad.
I still have no idea what's going on at this point. And they take us down to the police station. They just put me in a cell and they just separate us. They're talking to her, talking to me. I'm like level-headed.
So you went to a Chinese jail.
We went to a Chinese jail, dude. I'm talking to him and like explaining the situation.
Yeah.
You know, she's a little drunk. She gets crazy when she's drunk. Here's what's happening, right? And after like 15 minutes, I guess she was really belligerent with them too. They're like, "Yeah, just get the fuck out of here. Like, just go."
Wow.
So yeah, that's how that ended. That was the last time I saw her, and I found out. Okay.
Last time you saw her.
That was the last time I saw her. Why she was mad? She said, "Well, I went on to your QQ, which is like your Snapchat, okay, for the kids out there.
Yeah.
And I saw that a girl had messaged you, asking to hang out, and you 6 months ago, and you said, 'Sorry, I'm busy.' You didn't say, 'Sorry, I have a girlfriend.' You said, 'Sorry, I'm busy.'"
Oh wow.
That was why she was mad from 6 months ago.
Oh boy.
Right? That she spied on my messages.
Oh boy. And what was the situation with the business at this point after the jail situation, if it was in her name?
I had been, spinning my wheels on this thing for 2 years. I didn't make any money. The business wasn't worth anything. I had only ever got 1 shipment of wine in. I'd only sold half of it, if that. Mm-hmm. And
were you able to do that legally? Like, it's okay.
For the most part, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because
as far as I know, yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
To the best of my memory, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Everything was above board.
All right.
And at this point, I was thinking, like, you know, I gotta do better. I gotta do something else. I didn't know what the hell I was doing, dude. I didn't even have an internet store or anything. I was just wandering around and saying, "Hey, I'm white and I've got wine."
With a van, yeah.
Yeah, with my van. I'd been in talks with my mentor too at that point, and he's like, "Dude, one of my fuel suppliers, this dude has some airports in California. One of my fuel suppliers is trying to get into the Chinese market, and they need a guy. Why don't you go meet him?" So I went and I hitchhiked up to Beijing.
Damn.
It's like from Miami to New York City is the distance. Just hitchhiked for this job interview.
Jeez.
And met these guys, talked to them, and I got a job from there in the aviation industry. Did that for a couple of years.
Okay.
Before the next rodeo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So a couple years. What kind of job was it?
I thought I was going to be bringing their company into China, but what they really used me for is they brought me back to the States, and they had this automated fueling technology for commercial airplanes. Sounds really boring, but I was just flying airport to airport, installing this fuel equipment, troubleshooting it, and training fuelers on how to use it. And it's like, dude, I didn't go to China for 4 or 5 years to be working a tech job in the States.
Yeah.
Like, I was good at it. It was good money, but I had to get back to China. Convinced them to bring me back into China to work on getting them in there, but it wasn't going with the government. They had a little office there. No progress was being done. So I had a lot of free time.
The government didn't want you working there.
Yeah, the government was like, "Yeah, we're good on jet fuel, guys. We don't need your U.S. jet fuel."
Wow.
But at the time, I was really into fitness. going to the gym. Protein was a big thing for me, getting protein, but it's hard to get in China. You didn't know if it was real or not. Or it would cost $150 a tub for like a $40 tub that you get here.
Wow.
And so I found a raw whey protein ingredient, which is cheaper, and I started using that. It tastes like nothing.
Yeah.
It tastes weird by itself. Started mixing that, making my own blends just so that I could eat it. And people at the gym started asking me about it. Like, dude, what are you eating? So I'm like, I can't be the only one with this problem. And then I started a protein company in China. I started that. At the same time, I had an extra room in my apartment. I had that up on Airbnb, and this dude came there. His name was Pete.
Yeah.
He shows up in a leather jacket in the middle of the night. He's like, "Oh, hey, mate, what's going on?" He was like a mix of like Jason Statham and Bear Grylls, dude.
Okay.
Total wild boy. I gave him my motorcycle to cruise around Beijing, and he comes back and he's like, "Dude, there's electric scooters everywhere here. Wouldn't these be cool to sell to the West?" And
because this is kind of before they were a thing in the West.
yeah, and not like electric razor scooters, but like electric, like you see the Chinese delivery guys on them, like a Vespa
moped
kind of
type
style,
thing?
moped. Yeah. And I'd had a ton of history of bicycles that I didn't get into, but I had tried an e-bike out when I was doing the aviation job for the first time. It was $7,000 for this e-bike, dude. It was cool, but $7,000.
Yeah, you tried it, like you tested it out, but didn't buy it.
Yeah, it's like one of our fueler, the managers of this fuel company had it, and we went on this bike ride, and this dude was like 50 years old and fat, and I was in the best shape of my life, and he smoked me on this bike because I was on a regular bike.
Right.
I'm like, dude, this is cool, but it's $7,000.
Yeah.
And so he brought up the e-scooter thing. I told him about the e-bikes. We just got to talking like, why don't we try and find an e-bike out here in China that we can bring to the West? And we went looking. We went out to some factories. We were making calls. Started really researching e-bikes, and we couldn't find anything good, dude. We could not find a single e-bike that was like something we would want to ride ourselves. But we saw like, this is a really cool battery. And this motor is pretty strong. And hey, this factory said they would build us any bike we want. They'll prototype it for us. And it was at that point we're like, dude, like, why don't we just make the bike of our dreams? Why don't we make something really cool here? Something that could outperform and look better than that $7,000 bike.
Yeah. And
we could sell for $1,000. And we did that. We went to prototyping for almost 2 years. We built 6 prototypes.
And who were you working with?
This is just a factory in China. So we would come up with the designs and the components, and they would build the frames for us at quite a reasonable cost.
Or who was your partner, rather?
Oh, this guy's name was Pete.
Okay.
Pete. He's the guy I met on Airbnb.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and he became my business partners. We had a handshake deal.
Yeah.
On it, and started this business together. We went all in on it in winter of 2015. Once we had all the prototypes, and he moved into China officially with me, and we were just doing 16-hour days, nonstop, to building the website ourselves, looking at YouTube, like, how do you make a Facebook ad? How do you make a website? And we launched in March of 2016, and these first bikes, they raised $2 million in 2 months. Wow. And it was an incredible way to start a company. After spinning my wheels with the wine and then having this success with the bikes, dude. Whoa. It was really incredible.
So I forgot to ask this when you talked about your protein effort, and then the bikes. It was obviously super hard to try to register and start a business as an American in China.
Yeah.
I'm sure it is for any Chinese person too, just because of what I hear about their rules and stuff, and the CCP and whatnot.
Yeah.
But how did that impact your next few efforts of being an entrepreneur, starting the bike company? And what was it called, FLX Bikes, when you started? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Great question. So the nutrition company, after having that first rodeo with the wine company, I did it differently for the nutrition company. So the wine company, dude, I was like, I need this thing to be as big as possible, right? I'm thinking, what's it going to look like in 10 years? I'm trying to build that right out of the gate, rather than just like, well, can I get one case of wine here and just sell that myself?
Yeah.
And if I had done that, it would have been much smarter, right? And I recommend that to anybody starting a business. Like, let's see one small step before we build the Empire State Building.
Got it.
So the nutrition company, I think I got an agent, and it was still a challenge, but got it done. And the trick was to register a company in the U.S. and have that own the company in China. And for some reason that made it a little bit easier. It still wasn't easy, but I registered that in the nutrition company. Anytime I needed like an official business for the bike company as an entity, I just used the nutrition company. So that was kind of like our Chinese entity.
Got it.
I was like, hey, we need visa invitations, whatever, for a new employee. Boom, that's come from the nutrition company. So we had some legal entity to use for the bike company, but we never registered the bikes by themselves in China.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that we registered in the U.S. I forget the rest of the question. What was it?
Well, no, you answered it. It was just if you founded it as calling it FLX Bikes.
Bingo. Yeah, it was actually called Flux Bike when we
Flux.
started.
Okay.
Flux is like the state of change in electronics and electromagnetic motors is called Flux. And like our goal was to change the bike industry, change the world, change the e-bike industry. So Flux was a really fitting name. We also liked that you could say like, we don't give a flux, man. Flux traffic.
So you were really just trying to innovate this industry, which was kind of a slow starting thing at that point. With these really expensive products out there, and you say, hey, we're gonna make this more accessible, more mainstream, more affordable, more efficient with how we manufacture this, obviously, because you have to if you're going to come down in price like that, right?
The big thing we wanted was this, and it wasn't really about the money. It was about, e-bikes back then were so ugly, dude. They had these big bulky batteries.
You're making it cool.
They had wires everywhere, and if you ride this thing out in public, dude, it's not cool. Like people, like I'd be a little bit embarrassed to ride one of those bikes and show up somewhere and somebody's like, "What is that, e-bike?" So our goal was like, can we take this and make it into something that you would be proud to ride? Make it beautiful, like really showcase the technology. Use the best of everything you can get. Make it look good, make it high performance, and make it something that's like almost like a beautiful motorcycle, like a Ducati. You roll up somewhere on a Ducati, you're like, damn, like that's a sexy bike. That's what we wanted to give people, is that feeling when you roll up on your e-bike. And we did that with our first products, and that's why they took off.
That's amazing. So wow. Okay, but it was an American company from the get-go.
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. All right. So.
Yeah, we were in China, but we never sold any bikes to China.
Really?
Yeah. Like we never even tried.
So another way of looking at this is you basically were just hanging out where you were manufacturing the bikes.
Exactly.
Which is how it is, or how it would be for most of these American companies, just making their product in China.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was a really, really cool thing that set us apart from. There were some other guys that were early to the e-bike business that were doing something similar where they'd manufacture it in China, but they weren't there, dude. They didn't have boots on the ground. It's like they found a supplier and emailed them, and it was like, okay, we'll take them. Dude, we were living in the factory.
Yeah, that was going to be my question. Is what advantages did you have by having boots on the ground at your manufacturer, at where you're making it, versus most American companies that are making their physical products in China?
So there's a really wide spectrum of quality you get at Chinese factories, and also just communication challenges are amplified so much when you take into effect the cultural differences, the language differences, the time differences, what we would consider as acceptable versus what they would consider. There's a phrase in Chinese that you hear all the time at the factory, or when you take your motorcycle in to get fixed, 差不多, which means not that wrong. It's not that wrong. In China, a lot of times, especially when you're improvising or you're like, making the best of all your resources, not that wrong is acceptable.
Yeah, it's
right?
good enough. Yeah.
Dude, 10 years ago, we didn't have food to eat.
It's almost like us saying not bad.
Yeah, it's not wrong. It's not that bad.
Yeah.
Not bad, it feels like better than not that bad. Like, it's bad.
Yeah.
Right? But it's not that bad. And so when we sold all these bikes, we did it on Indiegogo. It was pre-sale, right? So we collected all the money, and then we brought that to all our suppliers and said, hey, we need X amount of this and this and this. Let's go build all these things. And we moved into the factory, and we were there for every single bike that was produced. We were hand checking every single one of these bikes. And that was a huge differentiator. Yeah. Because, dude, there was a lot of, paint would be scratched. The shifter wouldn't work quite right. And we got to spend time with every single person on the ground. Anytime we found a problem, hey, who installed this shifter? Come here. Let me talk to you.
Wow.
Right?
Wow.
When you shift it, when you test this shifter, you need to run through the gears 3 times, back and forth. Okay, what's an acceptable level of noise? What's an acceptable level of skipping on this shifter?
Wow.
And we got to set these standards all through every position in this factory. And that was really, really, really cool.
Yeah.
And to this day, they're still, the quality's just got better and better.
Yeah, because you set the tone. You set a culture of excellence in having that quality that good out the gate. You probably saved yourself a ton of potential customer returns or returns or defective products that you would have had to eat the cost for if you had been out here while they were making this thing at the beginning.
Totally.
In China, right?
Yeah. So we made a mistake in the beginning too. I don't know if it was a mistake, but we didn't have a good control of our SKUs. So ideally, you'd have 4, 6 SKUs, which is different types of bikes, sure. Right? You can only order one of 6 options of these bikes. It's one of these, and we give the factory, hey, we need 100 of SKU 1, 200 of SKU 2, and they just mass produce these ones. We made the mistake of we had these stretch goals throughout the campaign. The more money you raise, hey, we're going to release a fender, we're going to release a light, we're going to release a rack. And by the time we released all these components and got to the end of it, there were 96,000 possible combinations of SKUs. So every single bike was basically custom order in terms of what went into it, what color, size, model. And that really put some strain on our factory and our administrative stuff, trying to manage this stuff. We had one shipment where every battery was wrong, and we were able to catch that right before it got loaded onto the container.
Whoa.
We caught this because the battery's the last step after we do the quality check. They put the battery on, and we caught this thing and saved that's probably $50,000 saved right there just by being there.
Yeah.
And not messing that up.
Wow. Because you would have had to pay for that shipment. Would that have been most of that cost, or are you talking about?
Yeah, shipping batteries back and forth, get new batteries out there.
Wow.
Yeah, and then the customer service burden as well.
That's what I was.
And add to the reputation.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so you got things moving with Flux bikes, FLX.
Yep.
Eventually, when did you make that name change?
We changed the name after our crowdfunding campaign, and before we shipped the first bikes, we got a letter from these guys. They're like, they're from Germany. We're Flux Fahrrad, Flux Bike in Germany. Oh, and that's our name, and we make recumbent cycles, and you can't use our name. And after some long discussions with Pete, we compromised in dropping the U from the name, right? You're like, just drop the U. Still Flux
Yes.
and FLX. Our people who would order bikes, they won't be too upset because it's really similar.
Sure.
Right? The Germans they'll get off our back and World War III won't start. We'll be good.
What leverage did the Germans have on you guys?
Like
for that?
nothing,
Yeah.
dude, nothing. There would have been no consequence to keep the name. But if we had gone to the German market, and we did have some orders in Germany, we might have had some challenges there.
I see. Okay. Yeah. Wow. Okay. So you started this in 2016. Things take off. This is moving in the right direction. And then you moved to the U.S. How long after you started Flux did you move to the U.S., was it?
Yeah. I really like that question, by the way. What leverage did they have? I never heard it put that way, but that's a really good question. I'm going to collect that, if you don't mind, in my list of questions. I keep a note in my questions.
I love it.
Bro, smart people have the answers, but geniuses have the questions.
Yeah. I'll take it, man.
All right. So after that.
Yeah. So you said 2018, right?
2018. Remind me to write that down. I don't want to
for sure
derail this thing. In the winter of 2017, I was going home for Christmas, and I was planning. I just had a 2-week trip in the U.S. Pete, my co-founder, he was in the U.S. trying to kind of kickstart stuff off there, do some marketing, customer service, and start our operations here.
Yeah.
We had switched places for a minute where I was in the U.S. for Christmas. He was in China. We were going to meet in the middle, meet in the U.S. and like have a good powwow. And he couldn't get back into the States, dude. We went to the airport and he just didn't show up. And then we heard from him a day or two later. He's like, I'm back in China. I got there and they wouldn't let me out. They said, you've used your visa too many times. Like you're supposed to have 2 entries on this visa. You've used it 5 times or something like that. He's from the UK.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Whoa. And they wouldn't let him back into the States. And they put him right back on a flight to China. And so we switched places. Like neither of us had plans to do it. We both had a duffel bag and all our stuff was in the other place. Whoa. And I was like, well, okay, I'll just stay here until you figure out your visa and come back. And months went by, months and months, and it just wasn't happening. Couldn't get it figured out. So he stayed in China for a while. I stayed in the U.S. and started our operation here. So it's like it wasn't planned, but that was definitely a flip the risk table over moment, pick up the pieces.
And is he still there?
No. He's no longer with the company.
Okay.
He's moved on. We came to an agreement at the end of 2020.
For sure.
Just kind of split things up, but had some awesome memories, a great history together for sure. And the company wouldn't be here without our coming together.
For sure. God, that's amazing, man. So, and then you took over everything yourself in 2020.
Yeah.
But like, what was it like building out the operation in the U.S. Compared to what you had done in China the first few years? Were you much more focused on marketing when you came out here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
As far as like getting us started, it kind of felt like a piece of cake, dude, compared to China.
Yeah.
Like you rent an office, and it's all in English.
Yeah, you were training with the weight vest over there.
Government stamps for anything. Bro, getting stamps is such a demoralizing thing. You don't have that here, but to get stamps of approval for every time you want to breathe, really makes you want to do your head in. But
makes you appreciate capitalism, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. In many ways, China is like almost more capitalist than we are here, but definitely not when it comes to paperwork.
Okay.
Paperwork thing.
That's interesting.
Could use some optimizations over there. So yeah, starting it up here, big focus on just getting the word out. Getting the word out, and then also customer service has been a big challenge for us to really to nail from the start of the company, like doing remote customer service from China to our American customers.
Were you doing that all? I mean, did you hire people?
I had done some of it. And I love it. Like I love talking to people, but it's not the best use of my time. Somebody else could do it.
Sure.
And I could focus on the next big fire to put out. But yeah, it was slowly building a team, and it really took a while to get the right people in the right place. And to this day, we started this office here in 2018. that's still my focus is like, how do we get the absolute best people? And we've made amazing amounts of progress. That like, without me, this place could run just fine.
Yeah.
Maybe even better without me. But and it just keeps getting better. You know, we're getting the best people in the best spots.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's incredible to get to the point where you know it can operate on its own, where you've built the company to work like that.
Yeah.
That's huge props to you on that.
We're getting there.
Yeah. So Miles board.
Yeah.
How did this come about in relation to FLX?
Yeah, long story short, I saw the boosted board came out in like 2009, 10, 11. I was like, that thing's cool, but it's $1,500. I was in China at the time, so I spent like 2 weeks researching. I was trying to find out, could I build one of these in China without dropping $100,000 in development costs?
Yeah.
And the answer was no at that time. But then later, after we did the skateboards, the wheels are spinning in my head again. Yeah. We already have an electric bike. Like, a skateboard has less parts than that. Why don't we do that? And so I talked my business partner Pete into it at the time. Let's do a skateboard. And went to all the factories that were doing skateboards already, seeing what's out there, where the motors, where the controllers, and we ended up launching one in 2018. Once we were back here in the States, called the Miles Dual. Okay. We called it Miles because the board had a really generous battery compared to other boards at the time, and you could go for miles.
Got it. Okay.
Yeah.
Nice.
That was the idea, and that's always been a passion project. Never made a ton of money with it, but I just love it. It's so much fun.
Yeah. It's like it's a compliment to the core business of the bikes.
Yeah. You feel absolutely free when you ride one of them.
Yeah. That's sick. Man, okay. And so so those are the two main businesses you're focused on today. That's everything, right, that you're working on?
Correct. Yeah,
okay.
Everything I can say.
Okay, fair enough. Man, all right. So I want to ask a few more things about I want to ask about the marketing strategy. I want to focus on that for most of this, and there's going to be a portion of this question that I was looking at your YouTube channel and I saw the broken leg video.
Okay.
Which was wild, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm just interested in, like, holy shit, like, the way you seemed with your attitude in that video that you made. You're filming in the ambulance after your leg was sticking out of your shin was sticking out. I mean, my God, dude, like, what were you thinking by making a video out of that? What was your goal with that? Or did you have a goal?
Yeah, that's a great question. So initially that day, my goal was to go out and make a YouTube video. And I called up my buddy Larry and I was like, hey, I've got this idea for a video. Why don't you come over and we'll be like, we're going to go get ice cream, but we take the skateboards to the airport and we get an airplane and fly that and then take the skateboards to the ice cream shop.
Jeez,
and, subtle flex in that video. And so I had already had the filming equipment with me. I was already in the process of making a video. And then, everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the mouth. Right. As Mike Tyson says. And that was my punch in the leg. Yeah. Right? And for me, I've always been an optimist my whole life. Like, I don't get why people... I don't know... I don't want to be insensitive, but I don't understand why people get like so caught up in negative thinking when they have so many positive things going on in their life. It's like your experience is really just what you focus on. And dude, looking back on that day, it was one of the most fun days of my life. Wow. Including the leg break.
Unreal.
Like going to the hospital, dude, I was joking around with the firefighters on the ground there. We were having a good life. They gave me some great drugs on the ground. They shot me up with ketamine. I never had that before. I got in this ambulance. I was going around like laughing with all the nurses, just having a great time. This guy cut my pants off. And got to joke around with the doctors in the surgery room. I kept telling them, like, okay, you guys, it's the left leg. The left leg, right? And dude, it was a good time. But
Jeez,
when I
man.
thought about and I focused on the leg, thinking about like, oh, this hurts, my leg, I'm never gonna be able to do anything again. Like, of course you're gonna have a shitty time. So like, just focus on the good stuff, right? And that was the goal. And the reason I shared that, it probably wasn't good for skateboard sales, because people are like, you see somebody, the founder of the company, break his own leg on his own product. Maybe I don't want to do that, but I wanted to share with people, one, how it happened, so you don't make the same stupid mistake that I did. And and I could have said, hey, this is my friend's fault, this happened to me, I'm a victim, right? But if you walk through your life being a victim your whole life, like, that's all you're gonna get. No, you take responsibility for everything, even if it's hard to justify that it's your fault. You still take it, because that's what gives you control over your life. And so in that instance, right, what could I have changed? What could I have done better for this not to happen? Well, maybe if I was more than 4 feet away from this dude when he fell, I wouldn't have been impacted from a skateboard. If I kept a reasonable distance, this wouldn't have happened. So yeah, it was my fault. But I can share that with people so you don't make that same dumb mistake.
I like that.
And two, it's just real life. Like, hey, this is life. This is the experience.
You're a real person too.
Yeah, I'm lucky enough that people even care about watching this.
Yeah. That's cool, man. I really like your thinking behind that, man. Okay, and so I mean, a lot of cool videos you've made on your YouTube, on the Instagram pages you have. Like, what is your philosophy on continuing to do this marketing for the businesses and to continue building your personal brand with the content you're putting out there?
Great question. You know, the business has been really demanding the past few years. I haven't been able to focus as much on the marketing and the video side as I'd wanted to. I'm still quietly been building, kind of focusing internally over the past couple of years. My philosophy behind that is like, let's give people something they want to watch. Like, let's entertain people. It's kind of like making friends, right? I want to be able to make friends with my content and just show people, who are we? Who am I? And why should you care about this? And that way, down the road, like, maybe you don't want an e-bike now or an e-skateboard, or you never will. But when you have a friend who actually could use one, like, you want to get fit, you want to have fun, you want to ride something cool to work, you got a friend, you know somebody, you know a guy, right? You're going to come to FLX to get your bike.
Nice. I love that, man. Oh, well, I want to end it with this fun question I'm asking everybody, which is, if you have one entrepreneurial life hack that might be a little different from a mainstream belief, I don't know what you would think for this, but do you have anything you would share with the audience?
Yeah, I'll share something that I struggled with myself. And it's been a huge differentiator in my life. In 2019, dude, we were about to go bankrupt. And
oh wow.
And that's when I met another mentor who kind of turned me on to the book called The Secret. Highly recommend that. But it's about positivity, positive thinking, and you get what you focus on. So if you focus on positive things, you will be getting more positive things. If you focus on negative things, how much my leg hurts, how much this sucks, that's what you're going to be experiencing. And I caught myself in February, I was thinking about negative things, thinking negatively a little bit. I was even talking negatively, and I go home at night like, that's not me, that's not how I want to be. How can I change this? And so I made a challenge for myself. Every month I try and come up with a new challenge. And the challenge was a positivity challenge, where anytime I catch myself thinking or talking negatively, immediately drop down to the floor, do 10 push-ups, and reframe it as a positive. So for example,
it's a great one.
Right? Oh, shit, I broke my leg. Oh, boom, 10 push-ups, reframe it. Now I get 3 months to just focus on my writing, to focus on poetry, right? That's a reframe. And if you do that, it will change your life. And especially if you tell your friends about it. Next time they try and bring you down with their bullshit, push-ups. Don't bring,
that's a cool one. Because it's
contagious, dude.
That is a really cool one.
We got all our roommates doing it. The staff's doing it. It's awesome. No more complaining. Just grind, man.
Man, dude. Well, thanks for sharing that. And I'm sorry, but you said something that I have to ask about. You said in 2019 you almost went bankrupt?
Yeah.
So the business started off doing so well, and then, shortly after you came to the U.S., how did you get to that point, and then how did you get out of that?
Yeah, great questions. So we didn't manage our supply chain adequately at that time, and the lead time is so long on bikes. So we were kind of transitioning between generations of bikes, and we've done this a couple times in not the smoothest way, where we would stop selling one bike, and then we'd be ready to release this new bike. Yeah. But then it would encounter a delay or something. The motor would be delayed or something like that. And so we went like 6 months, 9 months at one time with no product to sell, with all the overhead, all the staff to support all our customers, and no income, no revenue. Yeah. And it just drained all the cash we had to a point where my buddy and I were looking at each other thinking, we don't have like 2-3 months in here. 2-3 months, we're gonna shut the doors in this place. Wow. And that's when I met the mentor. He turned me around. We had this new product that we were ready to launch, and I went all in at that point. I moved out of my my home in PB that I was living in. Yeah. I got a Sprinter van. I loaded it up with this new product. It was our Baby Maker electric bike. Went around meeting people, filming videos, got the whole team rallied behind this goal to raise $3 million. Yeah. We did $1 million on day 1 of the launch. Whoa. $3 million, like right at midnight on day 30. Wow. And then we got an extension on it, and we're like, well, we hit the goal. Like, what's next? What's the record, dude? Yeah. What's the highest somebody's ever raised on crowdfunding? Wow. And that was like 11.9 million. Whoa. We're like, okay, 12 million. So we got another 30 days, and we squeezed in at 12.2 million. No way. At the end. So you broke the record? We broke the record. Yeah. That's sick. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm glad you shared that story. That's a perfect way to end it. And it just gives a good idea of the journey of the business and where we are today, which looks like everything's going well. Hell yeah. Yeah. Well, Rob, man, thank you for sharing all this. This is incredible. I do want to ask you, is there anyone you have in mind with the profile of a type of entrepreneur person I'm looking for this show that you would recommend I have on the show, an interview? Yeah, I got a couple of mine. My buddy Christian Flores in San Diego, he's got this big YouTube channel where he reviews skate shoes. Oh. And his content is awesome. It's on another level. Okay. I'd actually interviewed him for a position here a few years ago, and we couldn't afford him at the time. But he's got a great storytelling content, and he's starting a business where he's already got the audience ready to go, and he's building a product just for the audience. That's one of them. The other guy is this guy Nate in San Luis Obispo. Okay. Runs a company called Plate Scrape, and it's a water saving technology. It's really interesting, really cool. Plate Scrape. He grinds, yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well, thanks. Scrape or Plate Scrape, one of those. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll follow up with you on getting in touch with these guys. Hell yeah. Dude, so yeah, what's your social media so that people can find you and follow me? It's at rob.rast on Instagram. If you search Rob Rast and then the social channel, I'll be there. TikTok, LinkedIn, I'm never on, but Instagram's kind of the hub. Okay. Yeah. And then the YouTube is all linked to that as well. Yeah, YouTube is Rob Rast. Yeah. And hit me up if you got any questions or ideas, or you want to get a beautiful bike. That's right, baby. Yeah. They are beautiful. Man, well, Rob, thank you, dude. Appreciate you telling the story and having me over at your shop, man. I'm looking forward to seeing the success continue and getting to know you better. Hell yeah, dude. Thank you. I appreciate it. It's been awesome. Absolutely, man. Fun interview. All right. Bye, everybody. Thank you for joining our conversation today on the Nichols and Dimes Show. Please check out and follow my podcast Instagram at Nichols and Dimes Show. I'd love to have you subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or YouTube. You can also find it on my website. I welcome and encourage any feedback you can share in the reviews so I can continue to improve and develop the show. Thanks again, and see you next time.